1 minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Gentlemen, we are here. We are here. It is another day. We are live. The phone lines are already up. Let me just make sure that the audio, someone says the audio is not on. Let me double check. Can you hear me, gentlemen?
Yeah, you have a very nice voice.
A very, very nice voice. I'm in a good...
Yeah, it's a very nice voice. Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day.
Yeah, sing it.
I just need some
Hit
time.
Hit it.
To get away from all these rumors. Can't take it no more.
Can't wait to get a copy.
Friend said there's one out now about OBJ going out the door.
All right, ready, gentlemen? This is how it all started. Are you ready? This is how...
New intro.
Welcome to the Bleedbigblue podcast, dedicated coverage of the New York Football Giants by your hosts, Marco, Trifecta, T. Merritt, and JBW.
I like how we're doing the evolution of it.
That's how it started. That's how it started, correct? And then we had a little name changes along that and a little rebranding. So here we go.
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Bleedbigblue podcast, dedicated coverage of the New York Football Giants by your hosts, Marco, J Money, Tim, and Captain Negative. Streaming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch.
Right? See, we're adding along, and this is us today. Are you ready?
Play the drop.
4 hosts, they bout to wreck shit like Marco. Addicted to the Giants like it's Netflix and Narcos. The CEO making big moves as per usual. Captain Negative calling everybody delusional. This podcast is number one. Like when you take a piss, so share the link and pass it. Like Benjamin making splits and Mr. Make-A-Wish. The sophisticated click. I spit offensive lines now. Tim can take a sip of some beer because he likes the taste of it, right? Don't forget the New York Giants beat the Patriots twice. The sickest dudes eating chips and salsa like it's Victor Cruz. Win or lose, always gonna root for Big Blue. It's true. This is a classic show. Tyree, catch it, bro. Play a drinking game while you listen and call it Claxico. Take a couple shots. If it's funny, you can rewind to Bleed Blue. Means it's in their jeans like Levi's. Eli, man in the shit. as sharp as arrows. BBG stay gritty like Mark Bavaro.
Ooh, because I spit hot fire.
Should we do it one more time? One more time. One more time.
Four hosts, they bout to wreck shit like Marco. Addicted to the Giants like it's Netflix and Narcos. The CEO making big moves as per usual. Captain Negative calling everybody delusional. This podcast is number one. Like when you take a piss, so share the link and pass it. Like Major making splits and Mr. Make-A-Wish. The sophisticated click. I spit offensive lines, now Tim can take a sip of some beer. Because he likes to taste it, right? Don't forget the New York Giants beat the Patriots twice. The sickest dudes, eating chips and salsa like it's Victor Cruz. Win or lose, always gonna root for Big Blue. It's true, this is a classic show. Tyree, catch it, bro. Play a drinking game while you listen and call it Classico. Take a couple shots. If it's funny, you can rewind to Bleed Blue. Means it's in their jeans like Levi's. Eli, man in the shit, just like a sailor. Captain, we attacking bum rush like Lawrence Taylor. Podcast on point, the sharp as arrows. BBG stay gritty like Mark Bavaro.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
And gentlemen, from what I know, there's another one coming.
There's another one.
There's another one coming by a different artist, and supposedly we might get different genres and different styles.
Now, did we give him the same? Did we give him the same notes, or did we give him a different set of notes?
Different set of notes.
Now, when you say a different genre, right? Are we going with like a rock jingle? Or are we talking like
there's
1877 cars for kids, ARS cars. Are we doing like one of those?
More of a crooner.
Yeah, there's another hip hop one coming, and there's a rock version as well.
Rock version.
I wouldn't say 100% rock, but more like
an alternative.
Like,
is there someone on the line? Is there a lady?
I heard a lady.
You heard a lady.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, lady.
Tim, you sound so strange. What's going on?
Yeah, there has to be Tim in a voice.
Hi, dude. Look, I am a big Giants fan, and
okay.
I would definitely love to see the Giants to see if they can get Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
No, so hold on, wait a minute. This isn't let's take this seriously because now I feel bad. First of all, I'm sorry for thinking that you might have been a lady. All right, because you sound like this is not a lady. This is a strapping young lad who has a legit football question. Now, what's your name, buddy?
Elijah.
Okay. Are you named after Eli Manning?
My last name is Morton, but some people call me Eli. That's fine with me.
I got you. All right. So listen, you want Nick Foles, right? Let me ask you, buddy. Why do you want Nick Foles?
Because look, he's a talented player. Because I know the Eagles got rid of him. And we want to see if we can get rid of Manning and get in Nick Foles, because Nick Foles is a heck of a player. We want to see Odell needs to stay with the Giants. We need to see if Nick Foles can come with the Giants.
Whoa!
How old are you, man? How old are you, dude?
I gotta say, Elijah makes some good points.
I think
I gotta tell you, you can't argue with him, right? He's got some points to make. Oh, how old are you, dude?
I am 12 years old.
12 years old.
All right, man.
12
You're
years old.
I like how you're invested. I like how you're invested in you can tell that you care.
Right.
Right. So no matter what your opinions are, right, you care. I can see. You know what? I can see the Giants. Here's my question with Foles, right? So I'll try to be honest with you.
Okay.
If we go away from Foles,
You're so good with the kids.
I try, Justin. We're influencing. It's a 12-year-old that calls in with a legit question. We want to make sure we take care of this kid. We don't want him ended up being delusional. With the rest of the maniacs that are out there. So we'll bring him in, right? So, buddy. So listen. Here's the thing with Foles, right? If you get rid of Eli, right, then that means you got to pay him. What's the number, Justin? $7 million in dead money against the cap. right?
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you ha-
definitely.
So that money hurts us. That means we don't have money to spend against it, right? So you're taking that.
He said, "Damn."
Because he said,
Oh,
"Damn."
yeah.
I love him. and then from there, you have to pay Foles another $17-18 million. So you can end up paying the quarterback position more money than you're paying Eli right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know if he right now isn't he still franchise, guys? Like they still control him a little bit. He hasn't bought himself out yet, right?
Yeah. Like, hold up. Like,
Go ahead, hold up.
let
Tell
me
me.
tell you.
Tell me.
Look, I know we're having an NFL draft till April.
Oh. Yeah.
And we're going to see, I really love to see Dwayne Haskins come with the Giants because he's a heck
Now
of a
this-
quarterback for Ohio
let me-
State.
Elijah.
And we need to see
This is a setup call.
Elijah, I love you. And you can, and I'm gonna ask that we get Elijah in whatever the rock rap we got coming out. We got to throw Elijah's name in there, like callers like Elijah or something like that.
Is this
Has to be dropped in because this
is
is
this Jimmy's
we
nephew?
did just become best friends. So you want Haskins, right?
Setup call.
You want
Yeah.
you want Haskins, right?
Yeah.
Hey man, why do you like Haskins a lot? You think now would you trade up for him or would you stop? Or would you just say I'm going to take him at 6?
No, don't trade up for
I'm
it.
going to take him
You
at
can
6.
give him
I'm going to take him at 6 because, look,
You know what,
Dwayne
Marco?
Haskins, hold on.
Marco, put this
If
kid in
Dwayne
penalty box.
Haskins, okay.
You put it. You say it from 2.
What are you doing to this kid?
Put him in the penalty box.
Why? What do you, Elijah, go ahead with your thought, buddy.
Huh?
You finish what you were. Don't let Tim. Listen to me. Don't listen to Tim. Okay, Tim had a rough upbringing in these different camps that he went to, and he was bullied. So he's trying to bully you right now because he doesn't agree with what you're saying. Because Tim is what we call in the business. We call Tim an Eli bot, right? It's like that Tim is an Eli bot.
All right.
So
You gonna tell Eli to
love Eli
tell
Manning.
El-
Just don't listen to
Eli-
Tim. Go ahead, what were you gonna finish saying?
Elijah,
Like, dude.
Elijah, in the comments section, people have a million questions.
Hang him up.
So ready, Elijah. People want to know your opinion on Kyler Murray.
Ooh, Colin Murray?
Number one,
Yeah, what do you think of
he's
him?
like a heck of a player. Like,
Yes.
seriously, like, if Colin Murray can, like, step it up, if we can get him, there's no way no one could beat us.
also,
Well, what about
also, Elijah,
Don't you think
Elijah,
Elijah
hold
grow a
on,
little bit?
James, hold on, Elijah. Who is taller, you
Yeah.
or Kyler Murray?
There you go. Great question.
Ooh, definitely Colin Murray.
Got you by a little bit.
That doesn't
How
say much
tall
for
are
you,
you,
Elijah.
Elijah?
I'm going to be honest, Elijah. If you're 12 and you're not 5'4", we got a problem because isn't Kyler Murray like 5'4"?
Yo, you're near my height. I'm like 5'7".
He's an inch.
So you are Kyler Murray's height. This kid is Kyler Murray's height. I bet he could take him in a fight. Could you take Kyler Murray in a fight? Say yes.
I think so.
I think
Yes.
you should too. I'm with you, buddy.
Wait. Elijah, people want to know also if you're subscribed to PewDiePie.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
PewDiePie. Perfect.
There you go. See, we speak the language there.
What's a PewDiePie? Someone tell me. What is that? What
Hey,
is
what's
that?
PewDiePie?
It sounds filthy.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Is that a site that we should be talking about or what?
We can't.
Yeah, don't tell me.
No,
I don't
it's
want to know
not-
what PewDiePie
It
is.
is not guilty because, like, like I've been watching YouTube videos and it's been awesome because, like I'll see when we're voting for someone, we want to get easy players that can be great.
Look at this kid. Look at this kid.
Elijah,
We're influencing the minds of America.
going on.
Elijah, do me a favor. Right? Keep listening to the show. Tell all your friends about the show, and keep calling in. Okay, every week. Keep us. Fill us in on your thoughts and what's going on. All right.
Sounds good?
Oh, one more thing, by the way.
Sure.
One more thing, by the way.
Go. Tell
If
us.
we get Dwayne Haskins and we can get
Shoot.
Nick Foles, we can mix it up. If we can keep Manning and Beckham can keep
So now you
going
want
on
3.
the
All right, Elijah.
offensive bar.
Elijah, I got to tell you.
Quit while you're ahead.
I got to tell you. and this is for your own. This is for your own good, Elijah. Right? You never draft a running back at 2. You never have 3 quarterbacks on the roster like that. Okay?
I voted this Saquon Barkley.
Don't let me turn on you. We're cool.
We're good as it is.
Look, one more thing.
Whoa, Elijah.
I just yelled at Tim for bullying the kid, and you see me just go ape shit crazy.
Yeah.
Elijah, thank you for all your insight. You're calling in. I love it that we are loved by the 9-year-olds. Wait, the 12-year-olds. School was in session for a minute.
First of all,
We learned a lot.
James was just pushing him up against the locker.
Tim, I'll fight you. I swear to God.
James was just pushing him up against the locker. Be like, you better.
I would have shoved him in. When he went through the 3 quarterbacks, I definitely was about to go all junior high and like put him in a locker room. Put him in a locker. So
What I enjoyed about a young caller was that he had an open mind in terms of, multiple quarterback solutions. Not necessarily on the roster at the same time, but the kid has an open mind. We could be successful with Foles. We could be successful with Kyler Murray. We could and should be successful with Dwayne Haskins. But the kid has an open mind. And I petition Giants fans, have an open mind.
I completely disagree. And I think that it speaks to the 12-year-old's naivety that he thinks that there's multiple options to a dire situation. And I think that if you agree with him, then you need to grow up.
Only a fascist would believe that there's only one option.
There's one option this year, and then you see. Here's my thing. It's not. Let's be honest about it, right? I don't want Foles because I don't think the roster's good enough right now to just try to plug somebody in to win in a window, right? So my thing is, if you don't like Haskins, I can live with that, even though I disagree with it. But recognize the situation then, that you still have not, that you, no matter what you do in this draft, Daniel Jones, Locke, that is not solving your quarterback problem. That is a Band-Aid on a broken limb.
All right, hold on. Let's.
Okay, so recognize that Haskins is the only kid that is worth taking in this draft at the quarterback position. You heard it here first. Okay, if you don't like Haskins, recognize the situation, trade some assets that you have, whether that be bad contracts during the season, whether that be the asset of 11 picks that you have at your disposal, and get some picks for the 2020 draft. Because unless you solve the quarterback problem, gentlemen, we are just jerking off in the wind here.
Now the 12-year-old is off.
That's an image I didn't need.
All right, let's.
Yeah,
that's the name of my second single, "Jerking Off in the Wind."
You might have depends where the wind is flowing, my friend.
Featuring Dave Gettleman.
All right, let's go to the lines. 954. Are you there? Are you 12? 954.
I'm here. I'm definitely not 12.
All right.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
What's going on? What's your name again?
Yeah.
Dominic, yes.
I called it.
Sure.
Yeah. I wanted to say, I think it's Haskins or no one. I've looked at Kyler Murray. It looks like a slot receiver playing quarterback, which is cool. But if he gets hit, I have my worries. And he's not built like a Russell Wilson or a Baker Mayfield, where they're small but they're thick. You know what I mean? Like, if he was a thicker dude, I'd understand. But he's so slight, and that worries me when you have a 300-pound linebacker coming in about to take your head off.
Can I ask you a question, Dominic? Have you ever lifted weights in your life?
Yes, I have.
What happens when you lift weights? You get bigger. And what's our quarterback going to do? He's going to lift weights. Listen, but I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. He's smaller than Baker Mayfield. He's smaller than Russell Wilson. However, at this point, last year, Baker Mayfield was considered a fringe 4th-round pick, and he ended up
No, he wasn't.
first overall.
No, he
pick in the
wasn't.
draft.
No, he wasn't.
It was.
It was not. It was not.
Absolutely.
4th-round pick? Baker?
100%.
Baker Mayfield was minimum.
Maybe Kyle Baker, but not Baker Mayfield.
Minimum end of 1st round.
Yeah, he was mid-round pick.
Time last year.
Not 4th round, Justin. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, quarterbacks are at a premium. We knew at this point last year that there were 5 guys that could be taken in the 1st round. Baker, Darnold, Rosen, Jackson, Allen. We knew those guys.
That's revisionist history.
No, Justin, he was in the 4th round.
But don't say they were 4th round picks.
No way. Mid-first round.
Revisionist
Mid-first
history.
round, I would give you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you slot him. The fact remains.
Yeah, it does.
The fact remains that if any of you sit here and tell me that you thought that Baker Mayfield was going to be the 1st overall pick at this last year, you're smoking stronger ganja than Jimmy does on a regular basis.
No. But Justin, didn't we say? But I will say this: I did say that you can make an argument for any of the 3. I thought that there would be trades and that you would have the first 3 to 4 picks be quarterbacks in any order.
I wasn't expecting Baker to be number 1. I will give you
But regardless of that, regardless of the surprise that Baker was at 1, you can't. The argument was you had 4 quarterbacks that I said I thought were going in the top 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take your pick. So we had Baker going to the Jets. So don't act like he was going to fall. We had Darnold going there, and we had Baker going to the Jets at 3. So, I mean, what the fuck? I mean, what are we really talking about here, guys? The value of a quarterback is greater than anything else. You better solve the problem. Here's the bottom line. That kid is 5'7" if he's lucky. And, yeah, you can get away with some gimmick wins like that, but you cannot win with a kid like that. I'm very sorry. That kid is not going to be able to play in the pocket. Defensive coordinators are going to have a fucking field day. And if he gets outside the pocket, it's a wrap. And Jones and Locke and these other guys, you're playing with yourself, man. You're joking yourself. You're trying to convince yourself of something you're not there. You talk about reaching, you're reaching. It's Haskins or you punt to 2020.
And I'm
okay if it's not Haskins, but recognize the problem and acquire picks to move up next year when there's going to be a host of guys that you do like.
So,
but
here's the deal with that.
Haskins.
I would rather Haskins, and I think you move. I think if you like Haskins, which let's put it out here right now, I don't think Gettleman's taking Haskins at all. Okay, I don't think it's happening, Giant fans. I'll be shocked if they take Haskins.
That too.
I don't think it's happening. Okay, what I would do is I would move heaven and earth. I have 11 picks. I would do whatever it takes to go trade up and make sure I got Dwayne Haskins because I think the kid's a star, and it has nothing to do with the class. It has to do with the player. Because if he was in last year's class, okay, the same player, and you move him to last year's class, I would have changed my opinion to say I think that there would be 4 quarterbacks going in the top 4 to there would be 4 quarterbacks going in the top 5. I'm done.
5 quarterbacks in the top 5.
Yeah, I would have added him right in with those other guys. You can make an argument of where they would have went. But it would have been quarterback, in my opinion.
Here's the issue. So if you say you're going to trade whatever picks you can trade to move up and take Dwayne Haskins, right? I'm with you in a vacuum. However, I don't know if the Giants have the ammunition to be able to do that if you're just looking at this year's draft.
No, you got to go all in and trade next year's picks and maybe the year after that too. And I'm okay with that.
Which means that you're taking this roster that we've discussed ad nauseum here is vastly depleted, and you're trusting Gettleman who we've gone on record and said that we don't trust, to build the roster with backhand picks this year, next year, because let's be honest, no one's going to take a trade up on 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. So you're sacrificing day 1 and day 2 picks for the next 3 years.
Yep.
To get a
no,
guy.
No, not for the next. I disagree with that. I think it's going to cost you. It'll cost you 6. It'll cost you your 2nd. It'll cost you another pick this year. It'll cost you a 1st next year, and you could probably get away with, if you wanted to sweeten the deal, a 2nd maybe in the following year. I don't think it'll cost you another 1st to move up to that spot.
So when you say a 2nd the following year, you're saying 2020 or 2021?
21.
Okay. So now for Dwayne Haskins, you're sacrificing.
Yes.
Just blank statement. Yes.
Just to have a guy.
Yes. 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 To have a quarterback. Yes. If you believe in the quarterback, there's no price too high. Sorry. If that's the guy you identify as, this is my guy for the next 15 years, then there is no price too high, because you're paying the price because that quarterback is going to make the team around him better, because it's a fucking quarterback, not a running back. And then you'll see progress. And then you'll see wins. And you'll get to 7 wins and 9 wins and 11 wins consistently in year 3 and 4 and 5. And you'll have a team that competes, and you free up the cap space.
You want to, Jimmy.
Thank you, Todd.
You want to talk about better be right.
Same thing, Justin. Then tuck your fucking tail between your legs and never pick a quarterback ever.
No, but listen. This is what I'm saying to you. The roster is Swiss cheese. It's got holes on the defensive side.
Justin, if I draft a rookie quarterback, I'm not expecting to win a Super Bowl next year.
Are you going to let me say my thing?
Because it's simple.
Are you going to let me say my thing, or are you going to interrupt me?
I'm not worried about winning.
Hold on.
I got years to build the roster.
Justin?
Yes?
He's on the mute. Go ahead.
I'm here. So if you invest 3 years worth of 2nd and 3rd round picks in Dwayne Haskins, you are sacrificing your ability to build the roster in the future. And I know we need a quarterback, but there's no reason to force it right now and mortgage the future when there's going to be quarterbacks next year. There's going to be quarterbacks the year after. And so if you mortgage the future for Haskins and you're wrong, you want to talk about compounding the problem. It doesn't make sense. I'm for drafting Haskins, but it's got to be at 6.
Tim, what do you think, Tim? I haven't heard you in a little bit.
Well, I was even trying to get in the shouting match. Well, first of all, Justin's absolutely right. Haskins is not worth trading up that much when we're at 6, period. And especially when everybody says you're almost going to sit on a year of Haskins. So we're giving up a year right there. And I'm with the Haskins pick. I think that's what we should do. But if he comes down to 6, awesome. If you got to trade up maybe, to the 4th or 5th to make sure you get him and give up a couple picks, okay. But don't mortgage the future, because the fact is, if you're going to do that, then we're already rebuilding. You should, and we'll go back to why don't you just trade Odell then? Because he's not going to be happy if we're just going to be, not trying to win for the next 2 years.
Right. Let me bring him back on for the retort. Are we ready? James, welcome back to the show.
You're jerking off in the wind. If you're wrong on the quarterback, you get fired.
Very true.
That's it.
Yep.
If you're wrong on the fucking quarterback, you get fired. Don't be wrong.
100%.
If you like the quarterback, you go get him. Because I got news for you, gents. You would go from 5 wins to 9 wins next year if you plug Haskins in with this kid.
Bullshit.
Right, hold up.
Not bullshit. It's true shit.
Hold on,
He's a good football player.
I have lit up lines. I have lit up
That's
lines.
correct.
Let's answer some questions. Ready? 917. What's going on? You want to jump on this argument?
Me.
I'm tired of your arguments. And half of you, it's Haskins or done. We fucked up. We had a chance. We had a chance there in 2018 to pick a fucking quarterback. What happened?
Thank
I
you.
think that Barkley pick hurt. It hurt. And I stress the fact right now. Do you see what happened today with Denver Broncos? They just entered quarterback hell. Do you see that? Do you understand what just happened today? I don't think
they don't understand, dude. They think it's funny. They think they want to wait till 2020. And what if you win? And what if you win 8 games next year and miss the playoffs?
You don't understand what just happened. Denver just entered quarterback hell by making that trade for Joe Flacco. False hopes. That's what Gettleman sold to us when they drafted Barkley. False hopes, because guess what? I've been watching the NFL since 1993, and beyond Jim Brown, I have never met a running back that single-handedly win a Super Bowl. Single-handedly. None of the generational running backs won anything. And Emmitt Smith does not count as generational, because Cowboys was a damn good team in the early 90s.
They were a phenomenal team in the early 90s because they raped Minnesota in the Herschel Walker deal, and Jimmy Johnson was able to nail his draft picks because he had a ton of them.
Well, shit, he was coming from the Hurricanes. He knew everybody. Florida's
100%.
To this day, the bed for where elite NFL players come from. But yes, to me, it's Haskins or done. I don't. Everybody with this rumor that Gettleman likes Justin Herbert, that dude is trash. He's garbage. He's garbage. I don't like him at all. Period. If you can't dominate a weak Pac-12, if you can't dominate the Pac-12 and that's a weak conference, I can't.
No, and here's the thing about Haskins is mentally where he is light years above where a 20, 21-year-old kid should be. If you listen to him break down film, if you see his progressions, if you see what he's looking at, he works the board. He knows what he's doing, man. All right, this is a kid that's been seasoned to be a quarterback. And last year, don't sell me the Urban Meyer myth. That was Day's offense, and he excelled in it. Okay, this kid could play. Now, if you're going to tell me you don't like him, that's fine. But recognize the problem and recognize that Haskins is the only one investing in this draft. And then acquire picks to get your guy next year. But I got news for you. If you like Haskins, you go get him. You do not fuck around. This is not something that you want to play with. You guys think this is a joke. This isn't a joke, man. This is not a joke. Like, if you don't have a quarterback, all these – and I got news for you. You could say, oh, well, that means we're losing the next year. One, I don't necessarily know that. And two, if you have your quarterback, you recognize the fact that, yes, you have to build around that quarterback. And Justin, it's not going to be first and second day picks because you're only moving up 4 to 3, 4, 5 spots. You're talking about your first, your second, another pick this year, a first next year, not a second next year, not a third next year, and another maybe first or second in the following year. And you sacrifice that to get the fucking quarterback. And with all the money that you freed up under the cap, you use that to plug some of the holes on the goddamn roster that you would have done with first-round picks.
The point that you're missing, and the point that I will.
No. Nothing's missing.
The Rochester, New York, man.
What's up, New York?
What's up, Rochester?
Rochester, New York. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, let's go.
Here you go.
What's up, buddy?
You know, we could draft any quarterback we want. What we gonna do with that offensive line?
Oh, stop! Fucking stop with the line. Stop! You're playing with yourself. You're making excuses. The line wasn't the issue.
One quarterback is going to change our offense.
Let me put it this way. You guys want to shit on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold won one less game than Eli Manning, and he didn't have OBJ, and he didn't have Barkley, and he had a worse line. So stop with the fucking crocodile tears about the offensive line.
This class of quarterbacks is not as good as the last class. So why would we go ahead and go?
But Haskins is. You're right. The class isn't, but Haskins is. You're right. The class as a whole is not there.
Why can't we wait a couple years for Trevor Lawrence to come out?
Good luck with that, dude. So you're saying that you don't want to take a quarterback, you want to draft best player available and still lose for 2 years.
I am willing to lose for 2 years for Trevor Lawrence. For a generation quarterback.
That's silly.
Yes,
you're silly.
Well,
because there's no guarantee that you're going to get Trevor Lawrence.
That's a bleed.
You're in the right now. What if you play that game and Trevor Lawrence
waste my 6th pick on a questionable quarterback?
That's my point. It's not that Haskins isn't good. It's the fact that he's still a risk. And the more picks you give, the more certain you are that he is the guy. Now, granted, I'll give James this: if you're sold on him, go get him. If you're completely sold on him, go get him.
That's the thing.
Especially, what happens if you're wrong? What happens if you're wrong and you mortgage all those picks on top of Haskins? Then we're going to be crappy for the next 3 years anyway.
It's this new regime.
And let's be honest. To move from 6 to 2 to take Haskins, or 6 to 1, we're not paying what it takes to move up from 6 to 1. We're paying more than whoever else is willing to trade up from wherever they are to 1. So you got to outbid the Dolphins. You got to outbid the Redskins. And so the price isn't just
you have a higher first-round pick than any of them. So go get your quarterback. Go get your quarterback. You put yourself in this position. You didn't handle the problem last year. If you don't like them, then fine. But don't put a Band-Aid on a broken limb. Recognize the issue, acquire picks for 2020 when you want to make the move to go get your guy, because you're going to have to make a move because you can't beat. It's not, you're lucky if you end up at 2 again, guys, it's an awful fucking season you had. If they tread water and have another season like this, Jimmy, 6-7 wins, they could end up picking 12.
So
then what do you do?
Here's my question: so whatever. Let's say Haskins is off the table. Someone jumped ahead of us and got him. You say we trade back, or you should say to take best player available?
I don't necessarily know that you trade that first round pick back, Tim. But maybe can you trade? Can I acquire a couple of more picks for next year's draft? Do I trade the second? Do I trade a player? Do I trade? I mean, get creative, man. But put yourself in a position where you have 1 or 2 more bullets in your gun in the 2020 draft to make a move. And that doesn't necessarily have to happen now. You have enough players on this roster right now. Where if you have Jenkins, you have Vernon, you have some chips where if it comes to week 4 or 5 and things aren't looking good, you can move them for picks in the following draft too. Maybe you get a 3rd, maybe you get a 4th. Now you have extra bullets in your gun on top of moving some of the 11 picks to get a pick next year. You can trade 3 picks to get a pick next year and still walk away with 8 players in this draft. So if you don't like Haskins, I'm fine with that. And if you get him at 6 and you want to roll the dice and bite your tongue and you get him at 6, God bless. But that's a dangerous game to play.
And I'm going to tell you that's the feeling I'm getting, is that Haskins is going to be the pick at 6. You know, it's all last year. It was predicted Saquon would be the pick the whole time. And you know what? Everybody just shut their mouth. Haskins has been the pick the whole time.
I don't think they're taking. I don't
see it going any
I don't
way.
think. I don't think they're taking Haskins because I just don't. I don't think they're taking Haskins. I'll be shocked. I'll celebrate. I'm gonna have bottles ready to pop, but I don't think that they're gonna have the balls to take Haskins. Because I think that they're in a pickle, because if you're gonna bring Eli back, I think here's what I think is gonna happen. I think they're gonna take the best player available, and then they're gonna package some of those other picks to try to move up and get Locke or Jones or one of those other guys. Because I think if you do that, there's a lot less pressure if you start 1-6 to go to the kid that you took in the late first round or second round of the draft, as opposed to the kid that you moved up for or that you took at 6. If you start 1-4, 1-5, people are going to start calling for that kid to play, as they should, and things can get very ugly.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem is Redskins, they pretty much announced that Alex Smith is gone for next year as well. And, you know, probably not coming back. His career's probably done. So we're going to have to jump ahead of the Redskins if we want one of those guys. Like if Locke or Jones happens to be the guy they like, we're going to have to jump ahead of the Redskins to do it. And especially when it comes to a rival, they don't want to mess around with that.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Yes. To be honest, I think we should beat the line and the defensive line. I really don't think we should do the Haskins thing. The reason I say we shouldn't do for a Haskins thing, because number one, I think, to be honest, I really haven't seen him do anything. I haven't really seen him do anything when it goes to throwing far. And not only that, we're not going to be playing in a dome at that. He has to be able to throw good when it comes to these wins that we get on this side.
Are you Scott? Go watch. You got to watch it again, please. Like I can't.
I'll be honest.
I don't. But you're not being honest. That's not honest. That's not honest.
You know what?
If you're gonna knock Haskins, knock him because he's young. But don't tell me he can't throw the ball down the field. Go watch the kid play.
I'm saying he's kind of iffy when it goes to throwing ball.
The kid threw 5,000 yards.
He is kind of iffy.
He played well.
No, he's not. He's accurate as all hell. He's not iffy. Go look at his numbers.
And he never played in a dome anyway. He played at
Go look at his numbers, man. You're wrong.
Not only that, I've never really been a thing for mobile quarterbacks. Because you know why I never had a thing for mobile quarterbacks?
He's not a mobile quarterback,
He's
man.
not a mobile quarterback.
He's not a mobile quarterback. He's not a fucking mobile quarterback. Like, don't call in and say shit that you don't like. If you heard Stephen A. Smith say it, don't call in and talk about it. Like let's be honest here. Like, go watch the kid play. It's very easy to go get the film and watch the kid play and have an educated decision. There's things to knock on Haskins. He can throw the ball downfield with accuracy. He anticipates very well for a kid his age. Okay, so enough. And he's not a mobile quarterback. Just because he can move and make a play every now and again, he's not a runner first.
James, the problem is when we're used to... Well, you know what? When we're used to Eli Manning, every quarterback looks like they're a mobile quarterback. So we're like, oh, man, he's fast.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
me, Vince.
Hey, what's up, Vince?
What's going on? What's going on? I just want to say something real quick to whoever that guy was that was on there recently. I'm an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. He did not watch any type of Haskins tape whatsoever, at all, not even the smallest bit. My only problems with Haskins is this right here. You know, is the simple fact that he's still somewhat of a red shirt. This is his first full season playing. You know, that's my biggest knock on him. That and our offensive line is not as bad as people think. I think we do need a right tackle for sure. That's without a doubt. Maybe even a center. But our offensive line is middle of the pack. It's it's 15, 20. It's in that range. His biggest problem is
20 is not the middle of the pack.
Well, there's 32 teams. That's why I said 15, 20. Like within
close.
15 and 20. Like, within that range is what I'm saying. Obviously, 20 is not middle of the pack, but within 15 and 20. and with that being said, he can't move as well as people think he can. I mean, for a black quarterback, he's not very mobile whatsoever. I mean, at all. So when the pocket breaks, he's taking the sack. Like, he's not good at escaping the pressure. He's good at stepping through the pocket and stepping through his lane.
Would you say he's got the mobility of like Roethlisberger?
Something like that, yeah. He's like a Roethlisberger type of mobility. He's not like
he does enough to get away. And the thing I like about him is that when he does that, when he has, I watched some film of him today, and he was breaking film down with somebody, and they asked him, they said, he said, I felt the pressure to my left, and they stopped the film, and they said, okay, what do you mean by felt it? You saw it? And he goes, no, I didn't see anything. I just felt the pressure coming. I just felt it coming, and I just stepped to the right to buy myself some time, and I was able to step in there and create a window to get the throw downfield. So he is when he does that stuff, he does enough to get away, but his eyes are down the field looking to make a throw, and I got to tell you, man, he's for a kid being a first year starter in a pro style offense, like the reads he makes are impressive. The he made one in the same film he was watching. He had a guy. He anticipated the guy coming down the sideline and threw him open to the middle of the field. And there was no reason to believe that he could have made the play that he did. And he just was able to buy some time, and he threw it to the open window, and the receiver ran right into it based off of the angle he came. He anticipated the window, and he put the ball where the receiver was going. It was a thing of fucking beauty. And I think I retweeted it. If you're following Cap Negative on Twitter, I think I retweeted it. I forget what game it was, but the guy was going down the sideline. If you look up Haskins' film, look it up, and you could probably find it on Twitter. He's sitting with a guy, and they're going over the film, and the receiver was actually, the corner was playing him to cram him to the sideline, and the receiver almost goes out of bounds, and he's pressed up against the sideline, but he has a window to where if he can get by him, there's an opening to the middle of the field, and he reads the safety and the linebacker to where they can't get to that opening, and he's a window thrower. He threw the ball right into the window, and the receiver curled back inside a little bit when he cleared the corner, and he says, the corner's playing man-to-man coverage. I know he's not going to look back for the ball, so I know I can put the ball in the window and just make the receiver make a play for it. Like when you hear a 20, 21-year-old kid say these things, and then he's saying it off of the film that he executed this on, because he made the right read and because he did the right things pre-snap because of the work he put in beforehand, it's fucking impressive. Like, go do the research on the kid before you make an opinion. Before you have an opinion on it.
Whoa.
No, not you. People in general. Yeah, people in general, not you.
Whoa.
Did you find it, Marco?
Okay, cool. But this, like I said,
did you find it? Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good stuff.
All right, I'll definitely check that out. But that's what I was talking about. He can't amazing in the pocket. My only problem is the fact that he just can't scramble as good as I would like. That's one of the reasons why I'm more of a Drew Lock fan in the sense of the Giants. That's the only reason why. That he can't get out of the pocket. He really does remind me of Patrick Mahomes. If you look at his tape and you watch him play, he really does. That's your opinion.
Nah, I'm fine with the Drew Lock. I'm with it, man.
Okay,
I watched Lock in that Senior Bowl, man. That's yikes. Yikes.
Well, I'm not gonna go tit for tat with it. Everybody has a bad game. But there's something about him. I don't get a feel for him. That I think he's I don't know if he can handle New York first and foremost. I think he'd crumble, and I just don't know if he's going to be. I don't see Mahomes when I see him at all. I don't see an accurate guy when I watch him play. But hey, I've been wrong before. So we'll see. I was wrong on Josh Allen. Josh Allen impressed me this year. I thought he would be a complete piece of shit, and he played a lot better than I anticipated. So could be.
How you doing? It's Alfred from Jersey.
What's up, Jersey? What's up, Alfred?
How you doing, man? I just wanted to remind everybody.
Right.
I just want to remind everybody not to pay attention to the media as far as this pick goes, and to pay attention to Gettleman's press conference, because when he told you he didn't like the line, he went and got linemen, and he got defensive linemen. He didn't like the lines on both sides. This time around, in that press conference after the season, it felt like he was disgusted with the defense. So I think the dilemma. So that's why I think they're shopping Odell. I do think they are, to maybe Arizona, so they could get Haskins clean and then worry about defense and stuff the rest of the draft. But there's a dilemma there, and that's why they brought Gettleman in to make this decision, because it's real ticky tacky. You don't want to mess up the draft, but you want to get your guy. So I think they're shopping Odell to get that pick, to get Haskins and not mess up the rest of the draft for defense.
Hey man, I think you're on to something, and I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it at all. I don't think they have the guts to do it.
I mean, not that exactly, but in that type of way. You know how? Like,
no, but I agree with you. I think there's a way to kill two birds with one stone, and I think that you can build this team around Haskins and Barkley if you recognize that you're starting from scratch, and you sell your best asset and you acquire a couple of first-round picks, and you put yourself in a position to take a defensive stud along with your quarterback in the same draft. I think that's a very intriguing thing to do. Now, people are going to flip out that you're saying trade Odell Beckham Jr. or think about it, but
I mean,
I would consider it. If the offer's there, I would consider it. Definitely.
Yeah. And then my second thing is
what?
Right.
Yeah,
but I agree with you. But he means what he said. When he was with us with. Right.
No, he didn't say that. He said he didn't sign him to trade him.
To trade him. Yeah, that's a play with words.
You see what I mean? Like, he didn't say I'm not trading Odell Beckham Jr. He said I didn't sign him to trade him. Exactly. That's what I mean. I'm with you. You're 100% right.
But remember, what he is true about, though, is that, remember, with us, he was responsible for the big guys. He talks about hog mollies. He's responsible. He wants, like, if a Josh Allen or something doesn't fall, that's those 2 second rounders or whatever we have, that's going to, like, defense. Pass rushers or big cornerbacks, whatever. I do think he wants a quarterback, but he's trying to find a way to get it clean. He felt like that defense was atrocious. Remember that press conference? It looked like he was disgusted with the way they performed.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I think they used that defense a little bit as an excuse down the stretch.
No way. If you watch the games, there's no way, because they gave up everything.
Hold on. Go watch the first 8 games, and then tell me that the defense was the problem. The defense carried them to 1-7.
Yes,
that's how bad that is. The defense played well in the first half of the season. They played bad the second half because they got rid of Snacks.
They got rid of Eli Apple, and that says something that you got rid of those two guys, and the defense went to complete shit.
Because this is a defensive draft. That's what this defense is heavy in. I mean, this draft is heavy in. So, and then the second and last thing I want to say before I go is that when he stopped watching Herbert, I remember him sending scouts to go check out Will Greer. I was reading that, and then that was that game where he had that epic comeback. He played real well that game. They went to go scout him. So I'm wary that they might like someone other than Haskins and try to get him maybe in the second round or late first, traded back for him, like a Greer or Daniel Jones. That's not out of the realm of possibility that they like someone other than Haskins. And you know what I'm saying? So they'll trade back, and that's even more players for what they want to do later. So.
Yeah, I think that there's a distinct possibility that they do that they draft best player available at 6, and then they package a couple of picks to move up and take one of those other guys. And I think there's going to be Giant fans that are going to scream that that's brilliant until they see one of those kids play.
Right. Yep.
But right now, he brought up a great name in Will Greer.
Yeah,
that's an intriguing name.
That's a terrifying name.
Here's what I want to ask, and this is an honest question. I'm not even gonna bring up Brady and Russell Wilson. The name that I'm going to bring up is Drew Brees. The year that Drew Brees was drafted, he was a consensus bottom of the first round, top of the second round player. He is shorter. Scouts knew he was going to have to stand up on his tippy toes to throw any pass, and he played at Purdue, which was a middling Big Ten talent.
Yep. Now how many Drew Breeses are there?
But what I'm saying to you is, and if you go out even further, Drew Brees, when he first came into the league, wasn't great. Teams didn't want him. Miami said, no, we're not interested.
Yes.
He had
that was because of his
shoulder injury. He had a major shoulder injury. And it was 4 or 5 years before Brees was even ready to play at a level where he could be considered a franchise quarterback. If you're telling me, I guess my question for you is if they do decide to take a guy in the bottom of the first round or the top of the second round, how long are we going to give that guy to grow? Because obviously, whether we like it or not, they're drafting him with the thought that he has some growing to do to turn into the player that they eventually want him to be. I mean, if we're going into this thinking that the guy's going to be ready to play the day that he comes in, I got news for you, and I think that you know this, Jimmy. Haskins isn't that guy either.
No, I think he is. I disagree with it. I think he is. I put Haskins in day one. I put Haskins in day one. Day one. What am I waiting for?
You would put him in, but what I'm saying is he's not ready to play.
I disagree. I think he's better than some of the other quarterbacks in his league. Boomer Esiason the other day said he's better right now than Mitchell Trubisky. I believe that.
Mitchell Trubisky's not any good.
But he's a starting quarterback in the NFL that led his team to the playoffs. And Dwayne Haskins right now, without taking a snap, I feel is better than Mitchell Trubisky. So I have no problem playing him day one because look at the other quarterbacks in the league. And here's my concern about the other quarterbacks in the draft. When you talk about the class, I see a bunch of 3rd and 4th round picks other than Dwayne Haskins. But I think teams will reach for them because there's a desperate need for the quarterback. So those guys are going to turn into 2nd and 3rd round picks that would have been 3rd and 4th round picks in a normal year. You put Greer and Locke in last year's draft, and they are late 2nd, 3rd round picks at best. So, I don't.
If you put Haskins in last year's draft, he's at the
top 5, top 6,
round or top of the second.
No,
there's no way.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I think he's right there with the other 4. I disagree with you.
He's not. So
I think he is. Go look at his numbers. Some of his numbers. Go look at his numbers across the board. Some of his numbers were better than Mayfield's.
I'll ask you this
Go
question.
look at his numbers across the board.
James, would you have took
If
Lamar
that was the
Jackson
case,
over
he
him?
would be the unquestioned number one right now.
I would have had him. I would have had him, guys. You know how I had all four of those guys right next to each other, and I had Darnold as my first one. I would have probably had Haskins. I would probably had Haskins right with Mayfield.
I can't go that far.
I got him up there. I think the kid's really good. It's not because of his class. It's like when you scout the player.
He can't be good. He doesn't have the body of work to be backing up that statement. He had 1 year start.
Dude, in college, like, what are we going to wait, another year? Like, what are you going to see? Like, scout the player. Like, when you scout the player, he's way beyond. Mentally, he's way beyond some of these guys that are 2-3 years older than him. Mentally, he's quarterback-wise, film-wise, he's advanced. He's more, and he's ran a pro-style offense as opposed to some of these other guys.
All right, hold on. Let me.
So go. I mean, if you do the research,
Let's go to the next call. Ready?
He's right there with them.
Can we talk a little bit about trading Odell before we go to the next caller?
We didn't talk about trading Odell?
What I want to say is this. Jimmy was with me in Atlanta. We were there together. We saw Odell in a new light. All right. First of all, he didn't really acknowledge us, and I know that he heard us when we called out to him. He didn't even look in our direction, which I have a problem with. If you're Odell Beckham and you can hear fans calling out to you, you at least look and give a nod. But I'm willing to forgive that because maybe he had a bad day and maybe he's tired of being recognized by Mr.
Maybe he was mad I told him that we stood in the shrine and signed him.
Right, but you said that after you already dissed us. So
I screened it.
What's more interesting to me about the Odell situation in Atlanta is we know he was in Atlanta. We saw him that afternoon. That was what, Jimmy? That was 3:30, 4 o'clock?
Somewhere around there.
Right. And we were at a party being hosted by LT, the greatest, most visible Giant of all time. In terms of visibility, Odell's on Lawrence Taylor's level. Now, I say that in terms of visibility, not in terms of accomplishments or what he's done on the field, but in terms of visibility within the franchise, LT and Odell are in the same milieu.
Hold on, I'm looking that up. Go on.
All right? We saw Jim Brown roll in at 11:30. Jimmy and I were getting ready to go. We were dog tired, and we saw Jim Brown roll in at 11:30, walking with a cane. And I looked at Jimmy and I said, "We got to man up. We got to go back in there. We got another out."
Yeah, seriously, guys. The guy is old as crap, and you guys.
Wait. Hold on.
You guys are
James,
call it a night.
Justin, are you trying to insinuate that you're upset that Odell wasn't at the party? How do you know if he was invited?
100%. If he wasn't invited, then that.
How does that speak volumes?
If he wasn't invited,
I really don't give a shit about Atlanta or anything like that. I'm more concerned about the shit that we've had to go through with this prima donna for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, I'm done with it. Like, ship him out.
Justin, you're big on Saquon.
What's the best offer?
He had a signing in Atlanta at 1 o'clock. He could have went to the party. You mad at him for not showing up to a party he might not have been?
I am mad at him. Listen, this is what I'm saying to you. Whether you whether they were invited and chose not to show, or whether Lawrence Taylor and his family, who were very nice and treated us like rock stars, didn't think enough to invite them. What I'm saying is that in either way, that speaks volumes about where Odell Beckham specifically stands with the franchise, where his mind is at. So, what I'm saying is, and I don't even know if this is something that I would agree with wholeheartedly, but what I'm saying is, if there's something going on there and they want to consider trading him, I would get it. Because what I saw in Atlanta, or what I didn't see in Atlanta, lets me know exactly where he is with the franchise greats. And so that probably speaks to where he may be with the franchise. Now, if I'm going to trade Odell Beckham, I'm going to make sure that I get my price for him. I'm not giving him away for a bag of donuts and a box and a bag of weed. You know what I mean?
You had more value.
Justin,
you had more value in this last year. They've completely because now he's under contract. You just signed him
Justin,
a huge contract, and now you're
Justin.
taking
That's
off.
such a huge
Teams know
such
that
a
you're dying to
huge
get rid of
reach, projecting more than anything. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
For me, it's more the history of what he's done, the constant headaches, the constant sideshows, the this, that, the interviews, this shit. Like enough.
All right, let's get to
just enough. It's tiresome.
Let's get to the next.
It's sad.
The lines are impressive. Hold on. Ready? 513. Are you there? I hear you breathing. Did you fall asleep on me? Yeah.
513.
All right. You're getting skipped, my friend.
You're out.
Let's go to 732. You better be ready. Are you ready? You're ready. What's up, brother?
Hello?
That's Jersey.
So I just wanted to talk about what that dude was saying earlier about Haskins being a more mobile quarterback. If you look at his stats this year, he had 79 attempts rushing, and he only had 108 yards. He averaged 4.1 yards a carry. So whenever somebody tries to say that he's more of a mobile quarterback like Stephen A. Smith, you would think somebody of his class would do their research before they talk about something like that.
Yeah, we're all in agreement that he's not the most mobile quarterback in the world.
And this year, I highly doubt it. But let's say Cody Ford drops to the second round. Are you taking Haskins and Ford?
I don't think Cody Ford is dropping to the second round.
I mean, it's a possibility. Sure.
And even if we do draft Haskins this year, I don't think that we're going to be that great this season. So I think we take a quarterback this season because next year, there's going to be way too many teams trading up. I think we go after an edge rusher next year and Chase Young.
Okay. As far as the edge rushers were big this year. Or that's the one big thing that's coming out this year. So a lot of people are going to be hitting up their needs now. And we're going to see how much edge rushers are important at the beginning, especially at the beginning of this draft, because that's the only way we're going to get Haskins is if people are appreciating the edge rushers.
I love how we're not even at this draft, and people are trying to predict next year.
It's tough next year. Those guys, we don't want to be in the top 10. Let's be honest. No matter what happens, whatever the draft, whatever happens in free agency, let's hope the Giants have a winning season.
You draft Haskins, you won't. if you play him.
Last question.
Did you say if we draft Haskins, we are going to have a winning season?
No, I think we do. I think we flirt with a winning season. I think we're much more competitive right off the rip than we were this year.
Oh, I mean, as far as replacing Eli, let's talk about the surefire replacement. If we can go get Teddy B.
No, you're on crack.
Teddy B is young, with experience, and we
And
can
fresh.
get him cheap.
Yeah, okay. You get him cheap
he's not
because
bad.
you can't
He's
stand
had
on.
one
He's got
injury.
one leg. You're
He's
getting
had
him
one
cheap
injury.
because you're paying one leg.
Sam Darnold's had 2 injuries.
You got the one leg discount. You got the one leg discount. Tim, come on, you can't even sit here with a straight face and try to compare Bridgewater to Darnold.
I'll say this: legs are overrated.
Well, come on, not for that position. They're not. Let's be honest. Okay. Quarterbacks need some legs.
I think here's the crux of it, right? The issue is that you have to do an evaluation on Haskins if you're the Giants, and you have to put a price on it, whatever that price is. But if you put that price on him just based on his value within this class, then you almost are certainly going to overpay for him. And if you're going to overpay for him, you got to be right.
No, yeah, that would be silly. If you evaluate him and you don't think that you have any questions about him, you don't just reach because he's the only quarterback in this draft. If you don't like the player, I can live with that. But then recognize the fact that my thing is, if you don't like Haskins, then don't give me a Jones or a Greer or a Locke and try to sell me that. Like,
not
I can live with it.
You're absolutely right.
I can live. I can live if you like. I can live if you don't like. I can live if you don't like Haskins. But do something to at least acknowledge the fact that, hey, we don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft. 2020, we need some picks. We need some extra picks. We
don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft. Thank God we went and got Teddy B. And
you're kidding yourself with Teddy B. Yeah, you're kidding yourself. You're going to win 6 or 7 games with Teddy B, and then you're picking 12th, and you can't get the quarterback, and now you still have a peg leg.
Well, here's the deal. No, you're right on the point. Is if you're not sold on Haskins, first of all, you take the safest pick. You take the best player available, which might be a pass rusher, might be a guy like Ed Oliver, might be Jonah Williams.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not sold on the quarterback, you take the best player on the goddamn board. Agreed. Or you trade back. Let's say there's a run of pass rushers, and there's not one you like right there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you trade back. Which don't like Haskins, there's somebody who does.
Yeah.
And you trade back, and is one of the picks that you get a pick for next year? I'm down with that.
Gentleman's history, he's never traded back. He's always traded up. He's never traded
Tim,
back.
I'm not saying he's gonna or he's not. I just like I could if they did that, I may not agree with it. I may be upset that they don't like Haskins, but at least you know what it says to me is they recognize the problem and there's a plan in place to move to 2020 and aggressively go get one of the guys they like. And I could live with that. Because then there's a plan to address the problem. My thing right now is this is bad, man. And my concern is that they don't recognize there's a problem. Like they're not even going to ask this dude to take a pay cut.
Well, who knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, once March hits and all these deadlines hit, we'll see what the real issue is. What they're saying to the
now
papers,
there is an interesting thing. There is an interesting thing about the Odell thing that I read, where I think it's more beneficial to the Giants this year cap-wise if they were to wait until after June 1st
I think the date is, and we can check this and maybe
usually
post. There's something where there's like extra or less dead money. There's like a certain way that they can do it. There's a flip. There's a good side for each way. But June 1st is a date. So if they're gonna flirt with June 1st, well, guess what, guys? Free agency, gone. Draft, gone. So you would think if they're going to do something with Odell, it has to be prior to the draft, right? Because you're trading him unless Odell is your chip to get the quarterback in 2020.
I mean,
so many different options for the old man.
Listen, he's gonna power up the Wii, and he's gonna make some decisions. Gentlemen,
Who's the guy you guys are? Let's talk about free agency, guys. Who's the guy you want?
Who's cheap? We have no money.
We have plenty of money. There's always money. Okay. And we're going to have like 30+ million.
Okay. But look at the teams you're bidding against, Tim. How much money do they have?
I understand. I'm not saying you get the top free agent or whatever, because honestly, what's the point? You're going to overpay for whoever the hell you get if you get them on the first day.
No, but there's certain players that are intriguing that are in that 25, 26-year-old range where you're buying them in their prime. Like, like Jadeveon Clowney. Anthony Barr.
He's going to be franchised. There's no way.
I don't know. DeMarcus Lawrence.
I saw like the top 10 free agents. I can't see any of them really leaving. I'll tell you one big
Crazier
tip
things
you
have
guys
happened.
are going to have to look for is who's going to trade for Antonio Brown.
That hurts San Francisco.
And that hurts the Odell trading as well.
I think San Francisco is a player. I think Arizona is a player. I think New England is always a player in those type of things.
if we walk away with just keeping Collins, that's a win.
I would trade him to the Jets.
If he
I don't think he is.
money, I'd let Collins go. It was going to take. It was. Well, he's a safety, which if we franchise tag him, it's not even that big a hit. But
what's the hit? 8?
If I had to guess, it's gonna be like 9 or 10, right?
12. How come I feel like it's 12?
I mean,
why do I feel like it's 12?
I'm just going off the top of my head completely. So.
Oh no, I don't know that to be. I thought it was 8. I thought it was 8 too when we first started talking about it, and for some reason I could be thinking of a different position, but I thought I saw 12, but I could be.
I'm googling.
Hold on. That may not be right.
You know what? A guy that I'm.
Oh, well, come on. He's googling it. What do we think, Justin? 8 or 12, or what? You got a different number?
I'm going 10.
I'm going 12.
I think it's lower than 12.
Go ahead.
I think it's higher than 8. I'm with Tim. I think it's 10.
You're with 10. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, Marco, go ahead. Marco's going to bid $1 million, so it's the closest without going over.
$1. 2018. Come on.
I'm interested now. Now I'm interested.
I'm going to bring up a name while you guys are thinking about it.
Go ahead.
Ha-ha Clinton Dix.
Interesting.
Be free safety.
Interesting. Here's my concern with that. Are we bringing Collins back and Dix?
Yeah, Dix is a free safety.
Here's the thing.
Then I don't know that I would do that.
This is a.
You wouldn't go both.
I don't think I would go both, Tim, for the simple fact is I think you're putting way too much money into the. You're looking at putting $20 million into the safety position. You're already paying. You know, well, here's the other question, man. Are we freeing up $17 million from Eli? Like,
Well, that's true.
Like that money, right? I mean, I don't. If we're not, then you can forget all that stuff.
Regardless, he's taking a pay cut. There's no way.
I don't think he is. I think
I have the number.
We're way off.
There's no way Giants are going to ask him to take a pay cut. Not after last
remember
year.
a couple of months ago during the season when I was like, he's coming back, and you guys were like, no way, and I was like, I'm telling you, I told you, I'm telling you, he's coming back, and you, no way. Well,
the number is, or last year's franchise tag was for safeties was 11.287. It's 12 mil, my friend.
Wow.
All right, we hit it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Who bet
I know
one?
everybody was right.
Well, technically,
somebody was
we were right, but
somebody was sort of like the electoral college. Like I was really right, but you guys won.
All right, gentlemen, I want to wrap this up, so let's get the final thoughts going.
Here's the interesting thing.
Another name I just want to put out there, guys, and I really think Giants are going to go after Darrell Williams, right tackle from Carolina.
Absolutely.
I can see that. What do you think he's going to cost?
He's a good chunk of change.
$10 million?
Oh, probably.
At least?
Sure. Why not?
I'm just trying to think of what the number would be. I mean, for free agency, a lot of teams bidding. You're gonna have to pay him double digits against the cap.
He's gonna be at least 10.
See, guys, I honestly, let me be dead honest. I would sit out in free agency this year. I would completely sit out.
I don't expect Giants. I expect Giants to get the plan B for agents this year. Honestly,
I would sit it out, and yeah, you're going to have to sign a couple of guys, cheap guys, to plug in. But I would not invest any long-term money into anyone that's out there via free agency, and I would let the dead money and shit that I have on my roster and these contracts clear and get off of it, so that when you do decide to turn the page from Eli, you have you're sitting in a position much like the Jets and much like the Browns and much like some of these other teams are, where they're $80-90 million under the cap, and you're able to just smartly spend the money and put yourself into some good contracts. Let the money go now, and hit reset, man. Hit reset, and I would. That's what I would do.
I'll give you guys a free agent name that I like. Zadarius Smith from the Baltimore Ravens.
Can use him.
10 sacks, 17 QB hits, coming off the corner on the outside linebacker position. Only played 690. Only played 690 snaps last season, and still had 10 sacks. And
he was part of a rotation, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. So that's a guy. You're going to be able to get that guy, with some of the other
cheap.
With some of the other defensive ends and defensive linemen that are going to be on the free agent markets, your D Fords, your Lawrence's, your Trey Flowers, all those guys. Those guys are going to take serious dollars, right? You might be able to
Trey Flowers is a name that intrigues me, but he's going to be so expensive.
He's going to be so expensive.
So expensive.
You're going to be able to sneak in behind everybody there and get a guy at a position of need, that can maybe take the leap. those are the types of guys the Giants need to target. You don't want to target guys that are already
about to jump. Right.
You want to target the next guy that's going to make the leap.
You're right. I agree with you 100%.
Very good call, Jared. Very good call, Justin. But
here's the only problem with that is, well, by not having enough money, you're bidding against teams that see that same upside. And on a guy like that, you have to attack that guy on day one of free agency. He has to be a target. You have to go out and you have to just make. You got to go out and get him.
You're absolutely right.
Somewhat, because he's not a day one guy, but for what you're trying to do and with his upside and his youth, and you know that's a player that you're looking at 2 or 3 years down the road that's going to contribute as a part of your plan. You target him and you go get him on day one. You make him. I agree. If that's the plan, because I think if you wait, then I think somebody may overpay him once the field trickles down, and he's one of the next guys, but the best guy that's out there. And now you're bidding against teams that just have more money than you.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, if you're looking, those are the type of guys right now that you're looking at that are coming off of their rookie contracts, that there's no cap room because they're expendable where they are, and you see the upside that you have in them, but you want to be able to have the cap space to not overpay them, but at least give them enough of a contract to entice them for the upside that you see, right? I mean, not to say, okay, we're paying you based off of the production that you had last year. You're a free agent. We see huge upside. We're going to give you more money based off of what you can be, but it's not a fucking contract that's going to kill you because there's no production there. That would be their next contract, right? So you got to target those guys and go get them day one.
And you know what? Now you're
not Jonathan Stewart.
And this guy that I'm going to say is going to do it out of spite to come to us. Sean Lee. Sean Lee's not a free agent yet. He will be a free agent. Because Dallas has to pay everybody.
Well, where would Smith fit in this scheme? And where would Lee?
Lee'd be a middle linebacker. It matters what they think of Ogletree. It matters what they think of Vernon. What's going to happen in this offseason.
Listen, hey.
Get a rotation or something. As far as the middle,
I'm not against it, Tim. I'm not against it, and I think that he'd come reasonably cheap because of the fact of the injuries and stuff. I don't think that he's going to cost a ton of money. Go ahead, Justin.
And they always talk about
so we'll give him
guys.
$6 million.
He'd be a great locker room guy.
That's what we. That's what we give locker room guys.
3 years.
And then cut him.
Yeah.
We talk about where we want to be, right? And where we want to be is where we were in 2007 and 2011, right? That's where we want to be. And where we were at that time was a team that was anchored by a defense that was strong in the defensive line and the pass rush. And they could sub in guys one after the other that could get to the quarterback. And just when we thought we had enough, we took Matthias Kiwanuka. And when we took Matthias Kiwanuka, everybody looked around and said, the Giants took another defensive end? Why the hell did they do that? And so you take a guy like Smith, you take a guy like Sean Lee, you put them in, not that Sean Lee's a pass rusher, but you put him in the linebacker rotation with an Ogletree and with a Lorenzo Carter and with a Zadarius Smith and with an Olivier Vernon and with a Kerry Wynn on the defensive line. And you develop a stable of guys that are playmakers on defense. Our playmaker on defense last year, in his last game, got burned by Tariq Cohen on a wheel route continuously. And that's why you got to think seriously before you give any money to Landon Collins.
I totally agree with you.
I agree with you. I think that they need a plethora of depth and new people and talent, young talent on the defensive side of the ball. I was just wondering where specifically that he would fit in on in that scheme. Where would he play? Because you got Carter that's budding, you got Vernon on the other side. The question I'm asking is, for a kid like that, is he looking to start and not be part of a rotation anymore? And does that subtract to the and here's the other thing when we talk about defenses and then I'll shut up and stuff like that. Yeah, the Giants back then were definitely built on the defensive side of the ball, right? They had a great defensive line. Everything you said, Justin, spot on, right? But I'm going to say this, okay? And this is really what it boils down to, gentlemen. In 2007, even with that defense dominating, the Patriots marched down the field and took the lead, and the quarterback had to make some plays. In 2011, the Patriots had the lead, and your quarterback had to make some plays. Now, that was 2007 Eli and 2011 Eli, and that quarterback at that time was able to make some plays, okay? So no matter what we're doing right now, we got to solve the problem. The problem is we need to solve the quarterback.
I think it's solved. We got in 2019 that Eli.
So there you go. I mean, for as good as those defenses were, we were trailing late in the game in both Super Bowls, and the quarterback had to make some plays. And you were able to take those defensive players later on in Eli's career in years 6, 7, and 8 to keep that line going. And you were able to do that because
all true, my friends, all true. All right, we are wrapping this up tonight. I wanted to thank you guys on the line, Justin, Tim, James, all the listeners. Few milestones this week: 16,000 on Instagram, 43,000 on Facebook. None of this would be possible without the help of everyone. I still can't believe half the stuff that we do and are being included in. It's so crazy. Thankful to everyone, honestly. And
yeah. Well, we're thankful to you.
I'm in a rap lyric.
Put this all together.
All right, so I will talk to everyone next week. And later.
You got it, buddy.